Okay, I think I'll start with my presentation. Yeah, hello everyone and good morning to everyone there. Yes. Hello. 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 Am I visible and clear? Am I loud and clear?
Yes, yeah. Good
Okay.
morning, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Yes.
Good morning. I'm Adedeji Ajoja Israel, and I'm the Executive Director of Operations of African Coaches Connect. Welcome to today's session. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. I would like to crave your indulgence to read your bio before we start, to do your citation before we start, if you will indulge me.
I beg
So
your pardon?
I would like to read your bio before we start your citation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just display it shortly.
No, that's fine. I have it over here.
Oh, okay,
You
okay,
you
okay.
can do that if you want so people can see. But good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the African Football Convention. Um, our speaker today is Miss Patricia Owomugisha. I'm very, very sorry for the pronunciation. She will be speaking on the topic African women and inclusivity in sports. Patricia is a Ugandan sports development and events management professional with a strong focus in football development and women's participation in sports across Africa. She currently serves as chairperson of the Events and Marketing Committee at the African Women in Sports Initiative, AWISI, where she leads the planning and promotion of key events that champion women's participation in sports across Africa. Patricia also works as a league coordinator for the Uganda Beach Soccer Association, overseeing match operations, scheduling match day fixtures, and capacity building programs for coaches and referees. She also currently serves in a part-time role as an events and hospitality manager with Tango Sports Uganda Limited, supporting sports events delivery and guest experience management. Her football background includes internship experience with the Uganda Premier League, providing exposure to professional league management and football operations. Her experience also includes service with the Uganda Rugby Union as a team liaison, contributing to effective team coordination and competition logistics. She is a graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Sports and Leisure Management. She also holds a diploma in Advanced Sports Management and Administration from the Uganda Olympic Committee, a certificate in Sports Management and Administration, and a certificate in Football Management and Administration from the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, FIFA. And she holds a diploma in Essentials of Sports Management at Johan Cruyff Institute in Barcelona. Ladies and gentlemen, Patricia Owomugisha. She's taking us on the topic of African women and inclusivity in sports. You can go ahead, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir, for that wonderful introduction about me. And okay, let me start or share my screen shortly. Yeah, they have already given a brief introduction about me as a Ugandan sports development and events management professional. I'm a chairperson of the Events and Marketing Committee, African Women in Sports, AWISI. Yeah, on this call today, I come to represent a group of women across Africa in different sports discipline. AWISI, I'll briefly just give an introduction of what AWISI is. AWISI is it's a platform that is trying to bring together different women in sports across Africa in different sports disciplines. It was recently launched last year in 2025 in April. Yes, in Nairobi, Kenya, and recently, just a month ago in December, we held a very wonderful summit here in Uganda to also launch it in Uganda because it is legally registered in Uganda. Yes, not limited to that, I also work with the Tango Sports. There I'm the events and hospitality manager. I also work with Beach Soccer. So my expertise is not only limited in events management, sport event management, but also league coordination. I've worked in the football sector alongside other very many sports, rugby, yeah. So diving through my topic today, African women in sports, African women and inclusivity in sports. So what does this mean when we talk about African women and inclusivity in sports? This means that we are trying to pave way for fair access to women in sports. We are trying to create opportunities for women in sports and also removing barriers. What are those barriers that are trying to hinder women in sports? We have seen African women in sports being represented in so many fields, not limited to leadership, coaching, alongside other technical aspects of sports. But what we are trying to say is that they are we are trying to remove those barriers that are trying to, hinder them for their full access and participation in sports. Then also when I talk about inclusivity, I also mean the different ways in which we can support women in sports, in different sports and in different leadership capacities, in different, careers of sport. Yeah, so that is what basically uh, inclusivity means. So why does inclusivity in sport matters? Inclusivity in sport matters. Of course, like I've said, women are being represented in different, fields, in different careers, not limited to leadership and, coaching aspects. So why do we need to, include women in the sporting world? One, uh, because sport promotes talent development and competitiveness. With this, I mean, we are trying to expand access for girls and women in different, training opportunities for different sports in different competitions, and also creating pathways for professional, experiences in the sporting sector. Then also under talent development, we are trying to nurture and develop talent for women at a grassroots level. Like I can give an example, football. Like you see in the different main sports where we have like there are different academies that where kids are learning how to play football. So even in the women's sector, we should have women being trained at grassroots levels as they advance on to bigger levels. Then also with talent development and competitiveness, here we're trying to also improve coaching qualities and performance of women in different in different sporting sectors. Then creating role models for girls and young. Why do we need to include women in sports? Why? Because when these young women and girls see others who are making it in sports, who are taking leadership positions, who are achieving national pride for their countries in participation of different sports at higher levels. So they are also motivated. So we need to create role models for girls and women, and also to encourage long participations in leadership roles. Then also encourage economic growth and career paths. With this, we are trying to create opportunities for women on and off the pitch. We are trying to open careers for women, not only in coaching, but also in sports management, in media, in marketing. So we need them to be visible and exclusive in the sporting sector. And also still on encouraging economic growth, we need them to participate where they can attract sponsorships, partnerships, and investments in different, sporting sectors or in the different sports they are actively participating in. Then building social cohesion and leadership skills. With this, I mean we need to, develop teamwork, discipline, and communication skills in women. We need to empower them to take leadership roles beyond sports. Yes, because if they are given opportunity to participate in different sports, I believe even when they go into other leadership roles not limited to sports, they're able to stand up and be confident to take up leadership roles, because we try to, as women, we usually jungle a lot of things, motherhood, family. So we really need this confidence. So those are some of the reasons why inclusivity in sports matters. As much as inclusivity in sports matters, I've also highlighted some barriers that are trying to hinder women. They are trying to hinder their participation in the different sporting sector, such as cultural and societal norms. With this, I am talking about societal norms, also gender stereotypes, sorry, that discourage women participation. Usually, they normally refer women as, just mothers, people who maybe cannot take part in, sports. At times they say some different sports are just meant for different women, or only for women, and they tend to leave us out at some point. But now, because of those societal norms, at times women lack confidence, to participate in these sports. I can give an example of martial arts, the taekwondo. So at times women actually want to participate and want to engage in these sports, different sports, but because of what society has branded certain type of sports, so at times women, they lack the confidence, they lack the, enthusiasm to actually participate in these sports. But they have the talent, they have the courage, they have the energy, they have the passion, but because of what society has branded some sports to be meant for, maybe for men, so it kind of discourages women participation. So another barrier to inclusivity of women in sports rather, is economic barriers. With this, sorry, a minute, sorry. Yeah, another barrier to women in sports, participation of women in sports, is less sponsorship and funding opportunities. We have seen most of the funding is going to men's sports and women's sports, or activities where women are involved. Sometimes the funding maybe doesn't come on time, or it is actually less. So at times women are a bit discouraged, even in the sports they pay, because of the less sponsorship. Women are being paid less than men, according to they're being paid less compared to what men are paid in their participation in sports. So this it's a little bit of a barrier that is hindering their participation. Then also policy and governance gaps. We have seen there is lack of women in decision making roles. Most of the bigger roles, even in the federations across the continent, majority of them we see men at the top. So at times women are a little bit, skeptical to push for these opportunities and actually apply for them, yet they can, but because of maybe having that fear or that, say that, hey, you see those bigger positions, usually it is men that are, given chance and considered. So it is also a barrier. Another barrier is infrastructure and facilities. Yeah, we have seen that women's sports have been granted limited access to training, grounds, equipment, even in the leagues. You find the grounds that the sporting grounds women are using for, training at times are not of standard. And when they try maybe to complain and reach out to their government, usually there is low response, or maybe there is bureaucracy at some point. So this one is also a barrier that, hinders their performance on pitch when maybe it comes to international representation, because maybe the grounds they're training on are really not on standard. So at times it hinders their, active involvement and participation in the different sports they are engaging in. However, I've also noted some key areas for action when it comes to, women, excuse me, when it comes to African women in sports for their inclusivity. One, I noted that we need to uh, give them more leadership and representation. With this, I need at least to see more women as coaches, referees, board managers. So this will be able to motivate them, and then also mentorship and network, building mentorship and networks, different networks for women. Here I'm talking about building platforms for women to share knowledge and grow. At least I'm proud to say that I belong to an initiative that is African Women in Sports. It's basically women. It's a platform that is really doing great. It's trying to empower women, create opportunities for them, not limited to employment, different workshops. I can gladly testify that last year we held two big events that were women related. They brought together different women. That was the first event was the African Women in Martial Arts Leaders Workshop, which was funded by UNESCO. We got chance to, bid and co-host this program in Uganda. We brought together different women in different martial arts programs, and they were really happy to, meet other women who are doing martial arts. We had lots of good conversations. Women came together to share different experiences. So if we have more of these, different platforms like Awisi that are trying to, bond women together, trying to create opportunities for them, trying to empower them, trying to, share knowledge, like maybe how I can say there is a course that is being taught, or there is a scholarship here and here. Different women who are in these different positions are always sharing these opportunities on our platform. So this is it's a good initiative. It's a good key. So I would encourage, maybe if there are also people who would, have more visions to create some of these platforms just to bring closer women, to share ideas, to share different knowledge about different aspects in sport. It would be a good initiative. Policy and investments. With policy and investments, in this case, I mean different people coming on board, governments coming to fund and, promote women's sports, encourage participation of women, in different sports by funding them, by funding different projects. At least I can gladly say I have had, or we have seen different non-government organizations like the UN Women trying to, sponsor women, trying to fund different women projects. We have seen at least the CAF trying to increase sponsorships for women's football. We have seen FIFA also trying to, sponsor women's football. So these are very good, key actions for, encouraging African women to take part in sport. And then visibility and media coverage. we have seen that women are being given different are being given different opportunities for media coverage. But I'm saying that there should be a key for action is that the media should also help us preach the good about women in sport. Should share these success stories of the different women, the women who are really doing great in sport. So this is to motivate the young ladies or the young women there who want to actually participate in sport, but are trying to not have confidence, not to be aware of what they can do. But because media house also has a role to play in different sports by sharing success stories, by publicizing the different programs women conduct, the different programs maybe for scholarship to that are being given out to women. This can help us spread and create awareness about women participation in sport. Then I also still on this topic, I was able to highlight the role of stakeholders. Yes, of course, we cannot do this without stakeholders. The stakeholders, we have quite many, like I've previously mentioned, the media, us, the women in themselves, the different federations, the different clubs, the different associations. Really, their role now, like for football federations, is one to support women leagues and provide more resources. I can say at least here on call, I was able to get approach from Mr. Eldred of African Coaches Connect, who actually gave me this opportunity just to come and speak about women, to come and talk about the benefits of being a woman in sport. So we should have more federations, more associations, more organizations coming in just to provide resources, provide platforms for women to talk about the benefit of actually participating in sport. Policymakers, with this I mean the different governments, they can come to create supporting policies for women in sport. Private sector and sponsors, with this I talk more about the corporates. They could come and invest, promote, publicize the benefits of women participation in sports. Then even the women themselves, yes, much as, because they're also stakeholders in this case, much as we are trying to source different ways on how we can empower them, how we can create safe spaces for them, even them are themselves, they should come up and stand. They should take the courage to take part in these leadership positions. If opportunities are there, let them not have the low self-esteem of not applying, all in the name of having that bias that top leadership positions are given to big people with different different CVs, men only. So they should let go of that mindset and take up this position. I can give an example of myself. I'm just someone who is just 3 years into the sporting career, but when I was trying to build my career in sport, and I saw different opportunities to apply for roles in sport now, like being the chairperson of the African Women in Sport. I took a leap of faith. I did not um, fear myself that because of the low experience, I cannot apply for this, I cannot do this. No, I took the leap of faith. I know I can offer something to the women fraternity in sports. I can also share my knowledge as I also learn from them. Then also we should advocate for women's rights. We have seen cases of gender-based violence in sports. So these are things we should not allow to be taking place. And also, not limited to that, we call the men to be our allies in fighting some of these bad vices that are trying to hinder women in sports, like gender-based violence. And I would love to end my presentation by saying that African women, we are ready, capable, leading in sports. Our role is to provide the systems and opportunities that allow them to thrive. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much. Good job. Thank you.
Any questions?
Patricia, mine is a compliment.
Thanks very much, Miss Patricia, for that very brief but hot analysis of the topic. It's quite unfortunate that the attendance of women today is low, but we have men around, and I'm sure that if we are to be looking and talking about the people that would give access, to women in sports, it's actually the men, because a lot of the roles are occupied by men. So I know that this conversation has gone and sounded in the right chambers. And then I'm also happy to announce that we are streaming, so live on YouTube. So the recording is live there, and people will eventually, eventually find it. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about the discussion. Coach Alice Aliu Yunusa is raising his hand. I believe he has a question for.
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Patricia. Very insightful speech there, and I'm also encouraged by that women participation in sports to go a very long way. Well, my question is, are we seeing are we seeing more platform like are we see, do they have maybe like volunteering rules that could see that we have people who are willing to volunteer and learn and see how they can actively come into the football space and also get encouraged like you did in the last 3 years?
Yeah, just to answer that, maybe what I didn't highlight, actually, it's a team of volunteers, I can say, women volunteers from different, countries. We are over 35 countries in different sports. And on the committee, we have a very active committee with over 35 women who are all, we are all a team of volunteers. So honestly, if there are women who want to join this platform, the room is open and they can be willing to join. They can connect with me. Yeah, I link them to the WhatsApp group. And recently, we're having so many programs, so many events coming up this year that very soon our events calendar will be released. Yeah, so the room is really open for women in sports.
Okay.
Who are really interested in, joining some of these platforms.
Oh, that is good. Can I talk, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, my dear sister. Now, as you said, it's an open platform. Now, you said there are WhatsApp platforms. How can one get access? Because my name is Coach Mansour Abdullahi. By special grace of God, I'm the Assistant Secretary of Coaches in Nigeria. And I'm also a CAF certified instructor. We have some women whom, one way or the other, they have played different role in sport in my country, in Nigeria. For instance, if we want to pass this message to them, I know question will come in. So how will they join? How can they get access? Or you mean we should relate to the president of African Coaches Connect to get across to you, please? Thank you. Before then, I want to sincerely thank you very much. It's a very insightful discussion, and it's very straight point. It's very straight to the point, and the message well delivered. As one of the first speakers said, the message will deliver. Most especially, I'm here now. I'm also working with the female under 20 Nigerian girls. So by special grace, I'll see how one of the first person to get access to should be our assistant coach, who she's a legend. She has played for Nigeria in names of April Efoya. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody here.
Okay, thank you
Yes.
very much, Coach Mansour. I also have a question for you, Madam Patricia. My name is Israel Adedeji Ajoje, and I am the Executive Director of Operations of African Coaches Connect.
Yeah, we can't hear you before. We can't hear you, please. Thank
Can
you.
you hear me now, please?
Yes, please.
Okay. I said my name is Israel Adedeji Ajoje, and I am the Executive Director of Operations for African Coaches Connect. I wanted to ask that I understand the topic and the need to include women in sports, but I wanted to know what you think. Is the low inclusion of women in sports, I mean, in leadership positions, not because there are very, very few women in the industry in the first place? I just wanted to know what you think about that, considering the fact that, for example, I'm looking at the participants that we have today. You are the only female participant. So the ratio now is about like 1 woman to 8 men based on the statistic in today's meeting. So I would like to know what you think about that, Ma. Did you hear my question, Ma?
Pardon?
Not audible. I'm sorry, Director.
I beg your pardon. Maybe just one more time on where I wanted
Okay.
clarity. Yes.
Okay. I said that I first wanted to appreciate you for the session. Can you hear me now, Ma? Hello?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. I said thank you for the session, Ma. Let me use my microphone. Whatever. Can you hear me now, Ma? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So I was saying thank you for the session, and then that I understand the need to include women in sports, especially in leadership positions. But I wanted to know what you think about the fact that is it a possibility that women are not very much included in sports leadership positions because there are few women in the industry in the first place? For example, based on the number of participants in this meeting today, there is one of you, which is a woman, and then 8 men. So the ratio is like 1 woman to 8 women. So there is a higher possibility of finding more male leaders because there are more men in the industry. So is that a factor as to why there is a gender imbalance in the industry? Or you think that there is just still the need for more inclusion, Ma?
What I can say, there's just a need for more inclusion because women out there, even young girls, they want to take part in these, different sessions, different, leadership positions. But because, at times they don't have, the opportunities, or they have not seen some of these, platforms, some of these opportunities being shared out there. So at times, this just maybe, can I say also, the lack of visibility, like I said, the media visibility. So yeah, it's not a factor limited to gender imbalance, but also other factors. Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Ma.
Yes, that's what I have to say about that.
Coach sir, your hand is up. Do you have a question for our facilitator, sir? Ma. Sir. Coach Aliyu, your hand is up, sir.
So maybe that is an old one. It's just an old one.
Okay, then.
Jonathan, I see, had something to say.
Please, you have the floor, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Am I audible enough?
sure you're audible.
Yeah, okay, Madam Patricia, I want to take this opportunity to appreciate you. You have given us a wonderful presentation. I also want to just add on what Coach has, the executive director has asked us, why women are not so much active, why they're not so much into the sport. I think it's not just law, but they're interested. It is mainly the culture. Maybe the home here, most ladies are not seeing that they are supposed to be in this field of sport. Then okay, most families don't support them. I think should be an initiative to inform the families about the opportunities that lie in the sport before showing them what they had, what women can do. Yes, we can come that we want to include them maybe as a country, as a government, but their families, starting from back home, they say that the game, main sports are mainly for men. Look at football, they think it is for men. Women lacking mentorship, even they lack safe facilities that they can go to. Actually, most of our developing countries, we don't have these facilities that a woman will feel safe to be included in something, games and sports. I think we need, it's not that they are not interested. The turn up is still low because of such challenges. But I think as these initiatives that come up, we can continue sharing more ideas, talking to women and whoever can get concerned, get their opinions and how we can, include more women. Thank you so much.
Jonathan, that was actually a very good, highlight and point to take note as we're trying to, advocate and include women in sport. Yeah, anyone else? Any more questions?
Okay. If there isn't any questions, and I don't believe there is any, I would like to appreciate you again, Ms. Patricia, for coming around. Your session was really, really insightful, and this is one of the very few times that on a platform like this, I've had the privilege of, hearing from a woman what women inclusivity should be like. So thank you very much for availing us your time. And thanks to everyone for joining us and for listening to Miss Patricia today. Thanks, everyone.
Too for the opportunity to pitch women in sport and to continue, sharing the good news about being a woman in sport, about being inclusive in sport. So I believe with more of these conversations, more of these, collaborations, more of these programs, we can make women more active in the sporting fraternity. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, ma'am. So thank you, everyone. The next session will be commencing in 22 minutes. It's going to be taken by Ambassador Henry Abiodun, the president of H&B Sports Global. Is not here yet, but I know that he'll be here as soon as it's time. But in the meantime,
And to add, he's not just the president, he's the national training officer of Nigerian football coaches. Please, thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that additional information. And I'm sorry for the omission.
No problem.
Yeah. So he's the national training officer of Nigerian football coaches, right?
Association, yes.
Okay, Nigerian Football Coaches Association. So while we wait for him, we could take this as an opportunity to network with one another. So I think
how do we network? You didn't answer my question, Oga Adimi. Madam Patricia, because we need to send. I'm a gender equality balance. Anybody knows me? I fight for the ladies. In fact, I run my own NGO whereby we always have a girls' child, the International Day for a Girls' Child's Day. So I think, and we have a lot of women that I think there's going to be a connectivity. I asked a question and I expect you maybe to answer the question, whether is it going to be through, as you as the director of operation, how can we now link up women with our speaker for this presentation so that they can have more members, since it's all about voluntarily how people can contribute. And just like what you say, the world is all about connectivity. Thank you very much.
That's absolutely no problem, but I will have to reroute your request to the president. I know that he can, I know that he can hear you, and then he will, I think you should reach out to him, and then he will give you a good response as soon as he can.
Thank you, my director of operation. I remember my humble self.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So I think how we can network here is Madam Patricia has introduced herself. Ambassador Henry Abiodun is about to join us. Madam Patricia has introduced herself. So what we are going to do is I'm just going to call everyone one after the other. They introduce themselves and tell us their names and what they do. And then they can use the chat box to tell us what they do. So everybody can just get to know one another. I hope we all understand that. So we could do that pending the time for Ambassador Henry's session is supposed to start. So Madam Patricia has introduced herself. We have our bio, and if you want to see our bio more clearly, you can check all of our social media pages out. African Coaches Connect on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. African Coaches Connect. That is our name on all social media platforms. So first person here, I think I should start from the bottom. Second D Jonathan. Second D Jonathan, can you introduce yourself, please? Your name, where you're from, what you do. Okay, Jonathan is not here. Can Mr. Salaudeen Maruf introduce himself, please?
Good morning, everyone. Or let me say good day to you all. My name is Coach Salaudeen Maruf. I'm living in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. I have a football team called Independent Football Club International, which comprise both senior and the junior players. Thank you.
Okay, well done, Coach Salaudeen Maruf. Where in Ibadan do you stay?
IITA precisely, along Monia, after University of Ibadan.
Oh, I know IITA.
You know IITA? That's...
Yeah, I live in Ibadan. I used to live in Ibadan. I stay in Abuja now, but I grew up in Ibadan.
Okay, anytime you are in Ibadan, please let me know so that I can invite you to our training section in IITA, because I'm using IITA football pitch for my training section.
That's one of the best pitches in that area. That's a big man.
Thank you.
Great job, sir. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can Mr. Yas introduce himself, please? Yas, YS. Okay. Mr. Yas is not here. Mr. Yusuf Abdul Muhammad. Mr. Yusuf Abdul Muhammad. Okay, Mr. Yas has introduced himself in the chat box. His name is Yunus Shokoya, chairman and owner, Unizi Football Academy. He has a male and female team. Unizi Football Academy. Is this Agbowa or Agbowo? Mr. Yasa.
Agbowa in Lagos. Hello, sir. Good day. I was already typing before you said I should introduce myself.
Okay.
Am I being heard? Hello, sir. Hello, ma.
We can hear you, sir.
Can I go ahead? Okay, my name is Yunus Shokoya. I run a football academy in Agbowa, Lagos. Agbowa is somewhere between Ikorodu and Ekpe in Lagos State. It's an outskirt of Lagos anyway, for those of us who knows Lagos very well. Unizi Football Academy, we have a male and female, and been home for about 6-7 years now. Probably I'm an accountant. I run a practicing firm. I have an accounting firm, but I have a very strong passion for football. So, and that's why I'm in this business. So, I think that should be enough for now. Thank you, everybody. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I said we need more people like you in the industry. People that will be bringing money from outside the industry into the industry. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we've been trying. We just pray. Yeah, hope that people that really knows about this business could help people like us so that we can bring more money. Because football or sports in Nigeria here is like my FA chairman in Lagos State. We said to me once that if you want to go into this business, you should be ready to be fetching water inside the basket. So, and your aim is just that let the basket should just be soaked. You don't bother whether the basket should be filled up. So, I just pray and hope that people like you that are very knowledgeable and well connected can help people like us so that we'll be willing more money. You know,
Yeah,
like my academy, we have done a lot, but we are yet to see much. I mean, my academy is sitting on 5 acres of land in Agboa. We have his fence, we have our hotel built there, we have our field, you know, and we are just there, just doing it because we love the business. Let me not start complaining. But we hope that one day we'll get connected to the people that will help us so that we'll be relieved at least. Thank
I
you, sir.
understand, sir. That's absolutely fine. We are going to I don't want to make a commitment, but the president is here and he can hear you. And whenever me or him visits the Southwest, we will try to reach out. But my number is on the groups. You can find me, or you can reach out to me on any of the social media platforms. Please just reach out. I'm not,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not that hard to reach. I'm not a celebrity. If you reach out, I'll respond to you definitely. So, and then we can talk in more details. Thank you very much, sir. But I want us to be as brief as possible subsequently because I want other people to introduce themselves as well. We may not have this you know, this break again. Mr. Charles Olu Charles. Okay, Mr. Charles is not here. Mr. Odepol, sir. Mr. Odepol. Okay. Coach Aliyu Yunusa Abdul Hamid. Coach Aliyu is not here too. Okay, Mr. Saladin. Okay. Okay, he's talking about his club. What's going on? Abayomi. Is it Olusho or Olosho? Abayomi, Olusho or Olosho? Okay. Can you guys hear me, please? I need to be sure that I'm not talking to myself.
Not talking to yourself, we're listening.
Okay.
We are listening, sir.
Yeah,
okay.
we are together.
Okay, sir. Mr. Abayomi.
We are listening.
Yes, sir.
Can you please introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Abayomi Olosho. I'm a coach for Maverick College Secondary School in Ibadan. athletics coach.
Oh, that's nice. Maverick College, around, is it the one around Samonda or something? I think.
Yes, Samunda.
Yeah,
Yes.
like when you're taking that
Yes,
route
sir.
from what is it now? Samonda Total, you bust out at the other side of Songo.
Yes, close to Polytechnic Ibadan.
Yes, sir. All right, sir. Well done, sir.
Yes.
Great job, sir. And then
Thank you, sir.
if you if you are able to talk to your proprietor, just tell him that I'm deeply appreciative of what he's doing. I didn't know until just now that the school has a coach. So
Oh, okay, sir.
yeah, so
I'll let them know, sir.
so we
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
people that do stuff like that for football. It is very, very important. So thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
Yes,
much,
sir.
sir. Mr. Jonathan, you're here now, right?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Yeah, so introduce yourself, please.
You know, I've heard most of you guys are coming from Nigeria. My friend, my colleague, Patricia, we are all coming from Uganda. So my name is Sekande Jonathan. I'm working in football administration and development, and I'm so passionate to seeing programs, football programs, all sports programs running smoothly and creating an impact in our society. I'm into business in the business sector, but more focused on football. So my friend Patricia, we have handled different projects together with her. So shortly, I'm a Ugandan and more interested in football administration and development. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan, and thanks for that insight that you gave earlier about women inclusion in sports. So just so you know, you and Madam Patricia, I know that she might have an idea. Next year you will be hosting the African Cup of Nations, and then as a result of that, the African Football Convention will be held in Kenya. So we are expecting you, each to be a part of the organization, if you understand what I mean. Mr. Jonathan.
Yes, definitely. It is
All
a
right.
good idea. And I think if she's still on the line, she can also welcome it. We can talk more about it and we see how we can organize to join people in Kenya. Or if you have anything you have to do from Uganda, you are so welcome.
All right, then that's absolutely fine. Thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan. Thank you, sir. Enjina Bukski Ifenkwe, if I got that pronunciation right.
Yeah, you got it right. Eina Buski Ifinkwe.
Okay. Can
All
you
right,
introduce yourself, please?
all right.
Your
That's
name,
my
where you're from, and what you do.
my name is Ifinkwe in Nepal, aka Coach Eina Buski. I am a football coach in Spartan Football Club of Agege here. We played in the NLO League and also in the N-Youth League. And also I'm a media personality too. I'm a media person. So that's it, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach.
And
Well done.
I happen to be a boy from H&B. I'm also a coach that I'm learned from H&B. H&B from Coach Enga Biodun. Very fantastic and wonderful human being. God has blessed him so much to put us on this coaching pathway platform for us to be able to express our skills as coach.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Babajide. Mr. Babajide, please. Mr. Babajide, can you hear me? Okay. Mr. Charles Olu. Mr. Charles Olu. All right then. That's okay. when other participants join in, we will take it up from there. Our speaker is already here, but we asked for 1 hour of his time, so I don't want us to take more than 1 hour of his time. So as soon as it is 11 o'clock, I'm going to introduce him, and he's going to take the floor. But pending that time, I would like to just hear anyone's opinions as to how we can do this better for you. If you have any idea about how we can do this better, please, now is the time. Or almost forever audio, please. Okay then. We still are streaming on YouTube. Yeah, and please, you find this insightful, you think you're learning something, please endeavor to share the link with people around you, invite people. My name is Ajoje. Ajoje means eat together. Call people and eat together. Let's eat this wonderful delicacy of tutoring and mentoring together. You shouldn't eat it alone. If you think it is nice and you love your friends, I think it is important that you share the link with them. Yeah. So let me see if I saw. Yeah, oh yeah. I skipped. Mr. Ade.
Sir, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Can you tell us your name and what you do? Please introduce yourself, sir.
Yes, my name is Adeonju Abiodun. I am the sporting director of HMB Global Sports, and I'm also a lecturer at El Roy London University in the faculty of sports psychology, and I'll actually be lecturing later today at a different time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mr. Adi will be tutoring us today on sports psychology, the impact of sports psychology, and I think mental health in football.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yeah. So thank you very much for coming in this early, sir. I appreciate the devotion and commitment to what we are doing. You didn't have to, but you're doing it, and I'm sure ACC appreciates you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. It's 10:58 already. Okay, yeah, Mr. Babajide is introducing himself now. His name is Babajide from Plateau State in Nigeria. He's the director of Blessed KAAFA, BKFA, just, and is also a member of the H&B Coaches Platform. Wow. Thank you very much, H&B, for referring Mr. Babajide to us, or for referring us to Mr. Babajide. The referral was mutual. Thank you very much, H&B. So I will just dive right into Ambassador Henry's profile before he takes the mic. Ambassador Henry Abiodun is the president of H&B Global Sports and Management Services Limited. And according to Coach Mansour Abdullah, is also, I can't remember, I think head of training at the
He is the national training officer and is
Yeah.
a dean faculty of, from Elroy London University as well, please.
Elroy, yeah. But national training officer of the Nigerian Football
Coaches
Association. Yeah. He's a football coach with close to 4 decades of extensive coaching and football management experience. He is the author of the book, The Key to Balanced Soccer, published in the United States in 2006. Ambassador Henry Abiodun is a sports consultant, dean of the Faculty of Sports Psychology at Elroy London University. He is also a CAF coach educator, NFF instructor, and the national training officer of the Nigeria Football Coaches Association. Coach Henry, who is married with 2 children, is a football ambassador with a proven record and the ability to direct complex programs from concept to full operation. FCAN, Elroy London University, H&B Global Sports, and the Modern Day Football Coach Workshop are some of Ambassador Henry Abiodun's influences. Ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Henry Abiodun is taking us on the topic components of football training. You have the floor, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Wherever you are listening from, good morning, good morning. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time, since yesterday. This is kind of, I'll call it overloading in the coaching specific way. Yesterday from I think 12 o'clock till like 5 o'clock. And today we have this since 10 o'clock, but this is great opportunity to develop professional development and personal development cannot be overemphasized. Here you are not allowing sharing. Are you there?
I just made you host, sir. You should be able to share now, sir.
Okay. One moment. All right. Yes, for those of you that don't know me, I want to say this. I'm the twin brother of Coach Edred Sanju Abe. The Abe you see there is my own Abiodun. He is my brother from another mother. I want to congratulate everyone at ACC. This is the 2nd edition and it's going on perfectly well. I think Mr. Isaac is in the background, or is that you mentioned something about sharing some couple of minutes ago. I want to say thank you for this platform given to H&B, given to me. I'm not going to start introducing myself again. You've said a lot, and it's important that we go straight into the business of the day. Yes, I'm going to be, in the next 60 minutes, I'm going to be talking about the components of football training. Yesterday, I think Coach Powell spoke on the principles of training. It was, shared a lot of insight. Coincidentally, he is a coach educator just like myself.
in another part of the world. I think he's from the UK, where I represent CAF, the Confederation of African Football. When he was talking about the principles of training yesterday, he mentioned that as a coach, it is very important for you to first know what your player needs. What do you want to help your player with in terms of training? What are the players lacking? You don't just go there and start to train. You have to understand your player. What do you want to help them with? What do you want them to improve on? He now mentioned about observation during training. He went ahead and talked about the interactions, okay? In the intervention, yes, we call it intervention wheel here in Africa. He mentioned training intervention, then he talked about feedback. Today, I'm gonna try to tie it together from his first principle of training, which is what do the player need? So when we talk about the components for training, now we are talking about the elements or the grading of the needs of the players. For example, think about a player that cannot pass accurately. Is gonna need technical training. When you find that a player cannot last 90 minutes, then he's gonna need probably physical fitness training. When the runs are not rightly done, then you start talking about maybe tactics. So for everything the player needs is being grouped into the components of football training. A school of thought, we call it the areas of football fitness. Areas of football fitness. So I'm gonna just go in here. At the end of this 1 hour, we expect us to be able to define training in the context of football. We should be able to list the areas of football fitness. We should also be able to identify the basic medical preventive cares that our football players or our sportsmen and women will need. I actually defined football training. I said any planned session, physical or measured, that can constantly improve a player's level of performance and development without any physical or mental damage. Very important. We have different kind of sessions that we prepare for the players. Once it has to do with physical or mental damage, then that is not a good football training. I also said effective training sessions are built around the areas of football fitness. To train the players, yes, the football players now in quote, otherwise will be counterproductive and unprofessional. What do I mean by that? FIFA, the custodian of the game, said, one of the strong purposes of the game is to develop the players. That's development. And they go ahead and say, for the players to be developed, they have to be constantly trained around the areas of football fitness. So if you are setting up your session, your training activities, and it's outside these areas of football fitness, then it's a joke. The players are not gonna develop, just like FIFA expected. I'll come to this in my own client here as a Nigerian. It is very common that after a football match, after a game or practice session, some of the board members, the fans, they come to the coach in most cases and said, why is it that the players are not fit? That these players are not fit, that's why we did not win that game. Just like what happened yesterday, Nigeria, Mozambique. It is possible for some of the fans to go to the coaches and said, your players were not fit. That was why they got defeated. And I always tell our coaches, as a coach educator, I said, instead of you to just start to answer such a question, it is very important that you ask whoever is asking you the question, what area of fitness are you referring to? And in most cases, that is where the argument ends because they are not knowledgeable enough to actually know the areas of football fitness. For the purpose of this teaching this morning, we're going to deal with 8 areas of football fitness. Most of us are very used to, especially those that attended on the here that attended our National Institute for Sports, the NIS. I remember they talked about the TETACO, the techniques, tactics, and the conditioning. Some other school of thought came up with the 4 pillars of sport. They added the psychosocial, some will add this psychology. But I'm here to just run down 8 areas of football fitness. You could call it components of football training. The first one we're going to deal with will be the physiological. Then we're going to the technical one, the tactical, the intellectual, the psychological, strategy, medical fitness, and transpersonal area of football fitness, that which is not very common. Physiological fitness. I want to let you know that whatever I'm teaching this morning is not an end, but technical suggestions and trying to help us to learn and relearn and remember some of the stuff we have done. Like we're talking about the physical fitness right now, there are a lot more components of physical fitness. But to run us through some of the basic that you need as a football player, we'll be talking about speed, we'll be talking about strength, we'll be talking about endurance, agility, flexibility, stamina, balance, and coordination. You see, we have stamina, we have strength. Those days, we just talked about strength. But right now, we understand that even before strength, a football player actually needs to have stamina. I will not go deeper than that. You could search it out. Technical fitness. This is very common. We all understand that we talked about the 3 R's: receiving the ball, retaining the ball, and releasing the ball. The 3 R's, one of my mentors those days said, anytime a player uses any part of his body, an outfield player, apart from his hand, to stop the ball, is applying technique, football technique. Yeah, you could define it anyhow you want, but again, good football techniques is around those 3 R's. Tactical fitness. In tactics, you'll be talking about the individual tactics, the group tactics, team tactics, and the knowledge that the player has. You see Guardiola here trying to do some work with the players. He's trying to work on their knowledge here. Individual tactics, you talk about the high skill level against opponent's challenge. When you talk about skill in modern football, is different from a player picking up the ball and juggling the ball. There are times you see all these players who can juggle 1,000 times without the ball dropping, using all the body parts. You know, at halftime of a football game, sometimes we have some exhibition where they bring some individuals to entertain. These are not football skills. Football skills have to do with engaging the opponent and being able to get by an opponent. So a skill that you cannot use to engage an opponent is not a football skill. So when you are setting up your training activities, you must be able to design them in such a way that the players are going to have the opportunity to work against an opposition. Group tactics. Yes, we have the departments of play, we have the phase of play, we have the unit, we have the lines. So you have, for example, your defense line, you have your midfield department, you have the front players. We all understand that. And that's why I said we're trying to learn, we try to relearn, we try to remember some key stuff. We talked about the team tactics now. These are general instructions you want to give your players sometimes on how you want them to play. You want them to operate as a team. For example, your low, your mid, or high pressing tactics. Now we come to the knowledge of the game. The laws of the game and the principle of the game are very, very essential. The more that your players have good understanding of the principles of the game in attack and defense, and the constant changes that goes on with the laws of the game, the better they will be tactically. Is it not funny that even when we talk about offside, we say it's offside tactics? That means defensive-wise, you can apply your offside tactics, and offensively, you can also apply the offside tactics. That shows that the knowledge that the players have in the laws of the game is very essential when you're talking about tactics. Intellectual fitness. We talk about educational factors, the general one or the specific ones. You all agree with me that when you're working with a football player that is educated, in quotes, schooled, it is also always easier to impact such players than players that are without. And when I say general education, means that it may not be in the four walls of the classroom. There are education that you have some players are not, they are not well educated school-wise in quote, but they are very intelligent. So it is left for you to know your players, understand who they are, then you know how to help them out. When we talk about the intellectual fitness, in my own opinion, this is what most, I break it down to Nigerian teams now. This is the difference between the Nigerian football players, I mean, an average Nigerian football players, majority of them to be frank, and the North African players. And this is one of the reasons why it's been a challenge for our teams in the CAF Cup competitions and the Confederation Cups to actually get the kind of result we always clam for, especially when it comes to playing against the North African teams. You know, most of our teams in the continent are club sides representing us. The moment they have to play against a club from Egypt, against a club from Morocco, a club from Algeria, you know, it's always a huge challenge. And one of the factors that differentiate between our player and their player is the lack of intellectual fitness. What am I saying? These areas of football fitness, these components are what we have to bring into our sessions, break down and help our players to develop in all these areas. If our players start to get the necessary development in the area of intellectual fitness, it will at least bridge the gap between our clubs, players, and those of the North African players. We also talk about game management. Game management has to do with vision and awareness. Vision and awareness, imagination, visual cue. We have players that have this, we have some players that lack this. But what am I talking about this morning? It is our responsibility as football managers, as football coaches, to help the players to develop in these areas. Yes, some skills, some potentials are inborn. However, we can design training sessions that can help to improve on other players and bring them to a very reasonable level in these areas of football fitness. I've spoken about the laws of the game. We must embrace the constant changes. Today, this is the definition of offside. Tomorrow, it has changed. Today, this is what can back you a caution. Tomorrow, it has changed. You must make sure that your players are conversant with all this. That is why it is very good during your game, your scrimmages, during the week that you involve a referee, not just one of the assistant coaches. Bring in a referee, let him wear the referee uniform, let him implement the rules, the laws that guide the game to later. Because practice is very important. It is what you practice that you are going to take to the game. Remember, it's a reflection of the game itself. It's a mirror. General knowledge of the game, now we talk about experience and exposure. Last 2 seasons, we saw Ahmed Musa, for example. That's a very good example with Kano Pillars. At his age, one we expect that he wouldn't do a lot of exploit in the league. But you remember Ahmed Musa became the game winner week in, week out for Kano Pillars. This was based on his experience and his exposure. He was using that to help his team. And that's why you look at the Olympic teams, the organizers, we said you can bring in 3 experienced players, over age players. That's what they are asking for. They know that there's room for experience when it comes to intellectual fitness and when it comes to the totality of the football game. Exposure is very important. You cannot compare the Super Eagles players, for example, yesterday, you can't compare them to the Mozambique players in terms of experience, in terms of exposure. And you see what came out of the game, 4-0. It could have even been more than that. Think about the Super Eagles squad, think about the Sudanese squad at the present AFCON. That's why right now you've seen that the men and the boys have been separated. Tonight, the finals of the round of 16 will be played. All the boys will be heading home. We have the quarterfinals with the men standing. So you cannot take away experience. You cannot take away exposure. Mo Salah on the Egyptian team, you see how they play and the composure. Most of the time, the other players will be in front of the goal. They find it difficult to score. Look at what happened yesterday, 1-on-1 on the goalkeeper. You need not tell him what to do because he's well experienced and well exposed. Now we come back to the knowledge of the principles of the game. Very, very important. If the players must excel in the areas of tactics, in the areas of intellectual fitness, they must understand the principles of attack. What do we do when our team is in ball possession, positive ball possession? What do we do when we are in negative ball possession? Very, very important. As coaches, as managers, you must understand this and must be able to teach your players in training and theoretically. Psychological area of fitness. Talk about motivation here. We all know I won't go much into psychology here, into psychology. I think Ade will do more on this in the next 2 hours or so. We have the intrinsic one. We have the extrinsic one. What motivates individuals differs. Okay, we saw a situation with the Super Eagles yesterday with Victor Osimhen, and he's been making headlines. His attitude, his aggressiveness towards the game, towards his teammates, towards the opponents. Okay, when you dig deep into motivation, maybe what motivates Victor Osimhen is different from what motivates other players on the field. So I won't say more than that. I'm not saying we should condone his excessive behavior or attitude, but again, he's been Victor Osimhen. Take those attitudes away from him, he becomes a normal player. Do we want him to be a normal player and not a winner? Those behaviors taking him to where he is right now. Again, that's not for me to talk about. The coach will work on the management of the team, the game, and the individual players. We talk about pep talks, positive reinforcement, inspiration. Very important, very, very important. Before the game, at halftime, after the game, we must know what to say to the players. There are times the game is not going well. There are times the result is not what we actually needed. Eric Chell said something after the entire drama yesterday. They were asking him what has happened and everything. What did he say? Eric said, what happens within the squad stays in the team, So he wasn't ready to say anything that is negative. We saw a lot of negativities in the area of the attitude that came up on the field, but again, he has to be positive because he still needs the players. They just qualified for the quarterfinals and they're going to continue to go on and on based on his vision. So what am I saying here? You must know how to speak to the king in every player. With female players, speak to their queen that is in them, because what you speak to is what comes back to you. No matter the situation, you must first of all appreciate their effort, because it takes a lot to run around the field. 90 minutes is not a joke. Appreciate the effort, then you can take it from there. When you inspire them, you're positioning them to do better. We talk about mental strength, natural boldness, toughness, self-belief. We go to team and personal goals. There I was talking about the goals set before individual Super Eagles player, Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, and Ndidi and the rest of them. They have the team goal, they have their personal goals. The reward, the risk, the disappointment, and feedbacks are very important. And we talk about the role of religion, the culture, values, and belief system, psychological wise. All these are what a coach must understand to help the players to be psychologically fit. There are psychological fitness training sessions that you could decide to bring into your training sessions based on the next game, based on what happens in the last game. Before I move on, I've touched base on some areas of football fitness, some of the components. Can anyone remind me of the rest? I said we're going to talk about 8. I want to know, let me check and see if learning is going on. Can anyone just remind me of the ones I've not talked about?
Prof, do you mean you can talk?
Yes, please. No, they just mention one. Don't mention more than one. I've spoken of. Okay. I've spoken about the psychological fitness. I've spoken about the intellectual fitness. I've talked about the tactical fitness, technical fitness, physiological fitness. What is left? Anybody?
Strategy, sir.
Okay, strategy. Thank you, Coach Mansour Abdullah. You're one of our instructors. Don't mention more than that. Can anyone remind me again what I'm here to touch?
Transpersonal fitness.
Transpersonal fitness. Thank you. Thank you. Any other person there, please? Thank you, Mr. Sulaudeen Maruf.
Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss.
Any other one? Who can remember the major one? Every player that must be signed at top level football must go through this fitness.
Medical fitness.
Yeah, medical fitness. You're not going to put any player out there without going through medical fitness. Thank you, guys. Yes, we have to check. This is one of the things we must do as coaches. You set up your training activities, and just like I said, Coach Powell spoke about yesterday, you must be able to observe once the activity is going on. Observation is key. And as you are observing, you want to know if learning is really going on. You must check, reflect, check, adapt, see if they are actually learning, if the objective of the training is being achieved. So you don't just continue to train and train and train. Observation. And you must have your ways of having that intervention, where you need to stop the game, where you need to make corrections, these are, I just want to thank ACC right here, putting this together, because when you talk about the principles of training yesterday, and now we're talking about the components of training, you see, the two are like interwoven. As a coach, if you don't understand these two, I think you are just, you need to go back to the classroom and reset your start button. All right, let's move on. Yeah, that's Drogba there. You know, penalty these days are very difficult. We talk about strategies now. General team planning. You know, sometimes some people talk about the overall team strategy. They talk about the team tactical principles. These are where you do it, your strategies. Remember, tactics is just the breaking down of the strategy. The strategy is the big one. Tactics is you breaking it down. You talk about your logistics, you know, the budget, the welfare package. All this, I believe, ACC took very good care of. That's why we can be online today. That's why we can do this for the next 5 days without much challenges, because they've worked through the strategies and, you know, and they are just doing fine. You know, we talk about the playing formation and pattern. And like I always said, there's difference between the pattern and the formation. Anybody wants to help me with that, please? Formation, pattern. It's getting deeper now. Okay? The men and the boys. Pattern and formation. Who can separate them, please?
Everybody?
Coach is in the house.
Yes, Prof. Information is...
Okay, can you separate them for us, please?
Yeah, information is just an information.
Okay.
While the pattern is how the team started to play. While the other information is just the arrangement of the players before the kick of the game. While the pattern, how they play, how they build up either from the build up from the defense to the attack, and either they always finish the attack from the right flank. They build from the left and finish from the right flank, etc.
All right, thank you, Coach. I just, yes, you're almost there. I disagree with the pattern a little bit. Yes, formation is the information. We see the way they set up, you know, it's just the way they set up, you know, 1-4-2, whatever, 1-4-4-3, 1-4-4-2, whatever you want to name it. That's how you set it up. That's your formation. The formation is without movement. How they introduce the players, this is how they are gonna stand. Okay, it's a stagnant form. It's a formation. That's why it's called, we say it's information. I can call Coach Hedred where he's right now in Morocco and said, this is the way Nigeria is going to play. We're going to have the goalkeeper, we're going to have 4 defenders, we're going to have 3 midfielders, and we're going to have 3 attacking players. That's the information. That's your formation. When they start to play, it becomes the system. How many in front, going forward? How many players are they taking forward? How many are left behind when they are defending? What system are they playing? What system are they playing? Positive attack, positive, negative ball possession. That's the system for you there. Pattern has to do. Pattern is from the fashion world. For some of us that have been into tailoring, you know, you have pattern, design. For example, Nigeria can play in the midfield, we play in triangle, with triangle. And that's their own 4-3-3, for example. And Morocco can decide to play their 4-3-3 with a flat 3 in the midfield. Different pattern. Okay, Man U can decide to play with 4-4-2, for example, 1-4-4-2. And in the midfield, their pattern in the midfield is a cube, you know. And Nigeria can decide to play with their 4 in the middle as a diamond. In offense, you could play your 2 flat. You could play 1 drop in 1. That is the pattern we're talking about. So we're talking about pattern. We're talking about playing formations, different formations. We're talking about the system of play. We're talking about the style of play. Style of play. Can I throw this one out quickly? Who can talk about style of play, please? Let's engage you guys a little bit. We're all coaches, managers there. style of play. I don't want Coach Mansour this time around, please. Anyone? Coach Maruf, what is style of play?
Thank you, sir. Right. From my own understanding, the style of play is the way the team transform their formation into their game section. It also go along with the pattern. For example, in my own team, we may decide that we go our style of play. We build up our possession to the right feedback, and from there we possess
You
to
just
the.
nail one there. No more story. You just say possession. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Possession play. That could be style of play. Okay.
And another style of play can be, sir, another style of play can be rondo. Rondo, that is
yes.
Rondo.
Yes, rondo. You could call it rondo. Rondo is like your possession, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I keep it simple for you guys. Okay. Style of play. You could play long, you could play short. What about that? Okay, direct, indirect. Your rondo is indirect. Your small touches to build from the back is indirect. So a team can decide to play direct, right? From what is Van Dijk, you could directly play all the way to Ekitike. Okay, if that's what they want to do over and over, if that's what they've practiced on the training ground, they can do that over and over. From their half to the opponent's half, 2-3 touches, they are there. That's direct play. And they could decide to play like Barcelona. Okay, Man City, Arsenal. Am I making sense?
Yes,
Indirect style of play, direct style of play. Again, some teams can decide to mix it up in their play. They play both direct and indirectly. Tactical flexibility is the magic of modern football. So you can decide in the first half based on game situation to play indirect and you switch it up. Okay, the last World Cup, France switched style 5 times in the final game against Argentina. So that's tactical flexibility. Against Argentina, we saw Holland played indirect in the first half, and second half they decided to play direct because they brought in 2 tall strikers. And guess what? From 2-0, it became 2-2 until I think they went into extra time or so. So this is what we have to learn as coaches. We must be flexible with our strategies. So all these are under strategy. Now we talk about your tournament, your competition, your matches, opposition, desires, all this, your desired result, all this we formulate into what your strategy should be. I am sure that Eric shall have his strategy for this tournament, but every game comes with different strategies sometimes. It was at the group stage. Yesterday he played at the knockout stage. Now he's going into another tougher knockout stage. So don't be surprised if he decides to change his strategy. Scouting of players, the quality of the players, and the level of play is very important when you're coming up with what your strategies for your team should be. Okay, now you can see this. Lionel Messi, 3 defenders all around him. Guess what the strategy is? For Barcelona, different strategy. For the defending team, different strategy. Whatever works for you. Medical, fitness, injury, and illness. We talk about prevention. There's an adage that said prevention is better than cure. So if we can prevent it, we talk about curative, can we cure if it has happened? Okay, we talk about therapy here now. We now want to make sure that the player is back, the treatment. Then we talk about rehabilitative form. That's rehabilitation. Okay, the captain of what's his name of the Moroccan team has to go through this. The African best player, just left my mind. Had to go through this. Now he's back on the field playing. Went through all these 4 phases. You said what?
Hakimi.
Yes, Hakimi. Yes, Hakimi. Yes, thank you, coach. Hakimi has to go through all this. They couldn't prevent the injury. He has to cure it. He has to go through therapy. He has to undergo rehabilitation. And that is why medical personnel on every team is a major, very, very important. That's one area that as coaches we cannot touch it. The highest we can do is in the area of first aid and mental health aid. We can't do more than that. We cannot, trust me. So that's why you need a good medical team. Medical preventive cares, you need to employ the qualified and experienced staff, professionalism, right? Harmless and appropriate facility and equipment. That's how you can prevent that. You can prevent a lot if you, before your training session, look at your equipment, look at the facility you are using. Try some coaches. We always suggest be at the training session ahead of time, walk around the field. If you are not sure of the safety of the field, sometimes you pick some stuff that can cause injury. This will help your team. You help your players. Good maintenance of facilities and equipment. You all know what I mean. Appropriate and proper execution of training program. We started by saying your training, if it is football training, it must not have physical or mental damage. It must not come at all. Physical and mental damage, psychological damage, all this must be avoided. So when you're talking about appropriate and proper execution of training program, we are talking about the kind of training sessions you give. For example, in the US right now, if you are coaching, I think you are coaching 12 years downwards, yes, I would say that's grassroots football. According to FIFA categorizes, yes, grassroots football into age 6 to 12. You are not allowed to let the players head the ball because they want to avoid any injury to the head, concussion and co. So appropriate training session, you want to know the age group you are working with. There are some jerky movements you do in training when you said you are working on flexibility that can hurt the player's knee. There are some training sessions. You are coaches, you know what I'm talking about. So you want to avoid all those kind of sessions. That's why we say appropriate and proper execution. How do you execute these training sessions? That's why as a coach, sometimes you need to have a physical trainer, somebody who is actually trained specifically to work on the players in the area of physical fitness without the ball in most cases. So if you have that luxury, it is very, very good for you to have such coaches because today the whole thing has gone scientific. There are range of movements that are allowed in different parts of the body. We talk about muscle memory and all that not is very, very important. For the sake of time, we go into controlled lifetime, the hygienic living, good nutrition. Very important, good nutrition. I always say this, I said, if you want to have a balanced football player, you must think about the training, you must think about the nutrition, you must think about rest or recovery. So I always call it the TNR. Training is very important, appropriate training sessions. We talk about nutrition. You cannot, because if you don't have the fuel, it's just like you having a very nice car and there's no fuel in it, it's going to be a problem. And if you have fuel in it and you don't have enough fuel, you're not going to go far. So good nutrition. And you have to think about rest or recovery, very important. Whatever training sessions you are having, if the players are not resting or recovering properly, it's going to do more damage than the development you are actually asking for. So we talk about being hygienic. You want to look at the players, especially if you are working with young players. And how are they taking care of their shoes, taking care of their nails, their socks, their jerseys? All these have to be part of what you're looking into. So you have to monitor medical history. Sometimes when you get these players, especially the young players, those of you working with the academy players, you have to know their family history. You have to know their medical history. In the US, for example, when we have our camps, you have a form where the parents already fill in some of the stuff that the player cannot eat, like peanut butter, and some of this sugary stuff. You have to just follow all these. These are what their doctors have advised them on. Contrary to stuff like that, you're going to cause a lot of problem, and you can be sued. So you want to make sure that you have the history already. Okay, this player is like this player is that. And talking about medical history, please don't joke with it. It's very, very important. Some players are asthmatic. They need to use their inhaler 30 minutes before the training session or before the game. After the game, they need to do one or two things. You must make sure that you're conforming to all these prerequisites medically. Then we talk about preventive medication and drug control. You all know what I mean by that. Drug is not good for anyone. It's not good for sports. However, you can control it, and that's why you saw what happened to Pogba. Let me not go into that. Is FIFA frown at it, CAF, same way NFF, is huge. Now we go into the one that is not popular. That's the transpersonal area of football fitness. We said this is a branch of psychology that focuses on exploring human experiences that goes beyond the individual ego, spiritual aspect of human life. This morning I was listening to Avi, one of these talk show presenters in the US. And he said something. He said, one thing he saw about Africans is he realizes that Africans are very spiritual. And my VC at the London University said something to me some years ago. He said, our identity in Africa is spiritualism. So when I heard that this morning from Steve Harvey, a man that is made and is very deep knowledge-wise, saying to the Americans that Africans are more spiritual than you, they are very spiritual. It makes me to totally agree with Professor Femi Esan, London University Vice Chancellor, who said that spiritualism is the African identity. However, when you talk about psychological fitness, like I said, it's a branch of psychology, and we may not just let's just move religion away from it and look at what it does to the players in the area of enhancing their performance. You realize that it helps to reduce tension. It helps to reduce the anxiety of the players before the game, even during the game. It helps to regulate the level of arousal, the arousal level. When it's well activated, it's useful for positive reinforcement and confidence building, self-reflection, self-talk, self-belief system that forms the player's personal philosophies. You see, so when we talk about transpersonal fitness, it's not something even the players can by themselves explain. It's something that is beyond them. I remember when J.J. Okocha used to be at the top of his career. He'll do some things and the camera will be on him. You see him smiling. And sometimes the fans will be like, why is he smiling? He just lost the ball. He just shot over. He doesn't even know. He will make some moves. If you ask him, how did you get to do that? He can't explain, because these are transpersonal stuff. Coach Clemens Westerhoff, in his days with the Super Eagles, said something. He said, when the Super Eagles players are not singing, going to the game in the bus, he says there is a problem. He said, such a game, they may not win the game, or they may not be on top of the game. They may not be in their zone. he's come to Africa, he's come to realize that we are big on transpersonal area of the component of training. So that's why you see teams, they pray before the game, they sing before the game, they pray during practice. When they are running laps, they are singing, they are praying. It doesn't have to be a religious song. Some players, they have in their head, their iPods, they are listening to Beyonce, they are listening to their local music. This is what ginger them. You know, these are transpersonal areas of fitness. You see Salah, after scoring a goal, no matter the celebration with his teammate, he will have his head down, you know, thanking God. You will see Kaka, he will have his two hands up there in the air, thanking whoever is thanking, I don't know. You know, this is our stuff. And it's not peculiar to African players. You will see when I show you some videos to end this teaching, you will see that it's not peculiar to us. We want to sing, we want to pray, we want to hold the jersey and kiss the logo of our club, of our country. The players want to do all these. It is just part of them. You can't take it away from them. So as a coach, you must understand. When I took over Sunshine Stars, I realized, you know, I came from the US and I realized that before every training session, they group up together and they clapping hands and dancing and singing. Yes, I'm a Christian, but for me, my belief is that's not supposed to be done on the field. I woke up in the morning, I prayed, you know, but I saw that that's an area of strength for them. So, and I wouldn't take it away. All I did was, okay, guys, I start my session at 8. You have to come earlier and do this and finish it before that. If I decide to take it away from them, I am going to take away their philosophies. And you remember their personalities is their philosophy. Excuse me. You can see Chicharito here.
Tiên của Chicharito trong Manchester United cũng là bàn thắng vào lưới của Chelsea trong trận tranh siêu cúp nước Anh hồi đầu mùa giải. Cuộc đối đầu cảm xúc trận chung kết của Premier League đã được bắt đầu. Trong hiệp đấu đầu tiên, MU bảo vệ cầu môn ở bên phía tay trái màn ảnh của chúng ta.
You can see how long it's taking Chicharito to do this. Others are waiting for him. That is his own ritual. He has to do it.
Tiên của Chicharito trong Manchester United cũng là bàn thắng vào lưới của Chelsea trong trận tranh siêu cúp nước Anh hồi đầu mùa giải. Tiên của Chicharito.
Now you can see Calvin Bassey. Have nothing to do with the color of your skin. This is their belief system. This is their culture. This is their life. If it doesn't do this, it may not play well. After the group celebration, you have to do it too. Think about how many goals Salah has scored for Liverpool. He has to do this after every game. As possible. Look at our girls here. At the after. have to wait for them. Baku staff, the coaching crew, we have to wait for them. We have to let them do their thing. Singing, dancing, taking the pressure off themselves, anxiety off themselves, tension, nerves coming down. This is personal. You must know how to take advantage of this moment. It's sweating already. There you see the big boys again. South Africa, the big boys from South Africa. Bafana, they are out. Back up. Can't take it away from the players. This is their value system, this is their culture, this is their philosophy. To set them up there on the stage. We have to take it on. We have to take advantage of it to help our players perform very well. I see now that it's not about the business. More for them, to take them to the game, to prepare them, their mindset, their focus, their imagination. Now we talk about the 12th man or women. The fans have their play, and it is still the transpersonal area of football fitness. You see how Simone in Spain with his team, when the team is losing, he faces the fans and is pushing up, using his hand, telling the fans to continue. He's asking the fans to ginger the players, to wake them up, you know. A lot of coaches does that, Jose Mourinho, you know, you have to take advantage of all this to help your team, to help your players. When the player hear this, when they are playing, they know what it means to their country. They know what it means to their club, to their fans all over the world. They know what they are asking for. You can see that. So much passion, transpersonal. Beyond them, what makes a family man doing that? Beyond them, they can't understand it. That's the power of football. Those days, they will be singing all what we are saying. Give us one goal. Give us more goal. These are transpersonal areas of fitness. Now, with saying this, we want you to take it back to your team. Sit down and see how you can take advantage of all this to win more games. You can see Liverpool, crazy about it. Never walk alone. Thousands of people at once, one voice. They have 11 players on the field. They break up the 12 players. They go. All right, come to the end in a good time. If there's any question, we could tackle that before I hand over to the moderator. Thank you for your time. Thank you, ACC. Thank you for all the listeners, those in the house and those on the air. It's been a privilege. From HRB Global Sports, we say thank you. From the London University, we say thank you. Any question? If there are no questions, let me hand over.
Mr. Salaudin has a question, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Ambassador Henry Abiodun, for your beautiful presentation. May Almighty God continue to be with you.
Welcome, my brother.
Yeah, mine is not a question. I just want to have some on the transpersonal fitness. I would like to make use of one of Nigeria player, Sam Soje. We normally use Van Dant for football matches. We all know what happened during Japan Korea when they refused him to mix of that bandana. Is for me, I use it as a case study to understand the real transpersonal fitness, because it goes along with, like you said, individual players may have their own way they develop the game spirit, and the moment you deny them the opportunity, it may resolve or not fix or not perform on that particular matches. Thank you, sir.
That's right. Thank you so much, Coach. That's a very good one there, adding that context to my content. Look, you just have to understand the individual players and what works for them, in the area of spiritual fitness. Okay. When I say spiritual fitness, that's a school of thought called transpersonal fitness. They call it transpersonal psychology. Some call it spiritual fitness. So whatever you want to call it, but every player have their individual philosophy when it comes to this. Eduwo, for example, Kingsley Eduwo, we always want to listen to soft music all by himself. When the team is singing, he's not going to join them. He's going to have his phone around him, have his earpiece right there. You see him shaking his head. That is his mood. That is his moment before the game. We let him have his way. So you can't take that away from him. So talking about Sergey, fantastic. Thank you, Coach. Any other observation or question? Yeah, I think I only have less than 2 minutes into my 1 hour. I'll be signing out. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. We pray Nigeria bring the trophy. AFCON to Nigeria. Long live ACC. Long live H&B Global Sports. Long live Nigeria.
And long live Africa. Thank you very, very much for this session. So it was really, really insightful. And it was broken down to the most basic of terms. I have no idea of coaching. I've never coached before. I'm a lawyer, and but I was able to grasp a lot of the concepts that were explained today. And for you to have dummied it down to that level, I know that it must have taken a lot of work, a lot of intellectual work. And I also like the way the presentation, the slides were put together, especially for the purpose of engagement. So I know that I speak for everybody when I say that was a very, very beautiful and great presentation. Thank you very, very much, sir, for taking out time to talk to us. And then I think the president.
Welcome, please. Yeah, the president is there.
Yeah, I think he wants to give you his appreciation personally.
Once again, good afternoon. How are you, my dear BRS twin brother? How are you? I really have to.
I'm fine.
I really have to peel off from what I'm doing here. I think you can hear my voice, maybe not my face. And
okay,
I can't thank you enough, twin brother, for a great job you're doing. I want to thank you. I want to thank your lovely, wonderful family. I really too want to thank the entire H&B Global Sport Nation. When people hear us and hear you, they know what African and Africans can do. And that's why we're spreading this gospel. Everyone in this room, we don't know what we have. We don't know what we can do. Collectively, when we come together, I was just browsing somewhere. Coach Monzo was making some assertion. Yes, development is even keyer than formation, so to speak. We must keep self-developing ourselves, and we must keep getting plugged in. So when those opportunities come, we can really assume positions. And this can never happen except we have people like our ambassador coach, Henry Abiodun, and his lovely family and the H&B Global Sport. I can thank you now for what you guys do for me, for ACC, and particularly on this state of the AFC. We will continue to grow, we'll continue to do better, and I can just say thank you and thank you. Very insightful, the little few I could peel off from my live session here to listen. I know you and I know what you cook, and it was really delicious. At this junction, I want to switch over to my Executive Director of Operations, Barrister Israel Adedeji. He's been doing an awesome job. This is what we're doing. You could see what he's doing here. You could see what I did. You saw what Ayo did yesterday. Yes, this generation must take over and they must leave us to that promised land. I want to say thank you all. It's love always from here. Let's keep shooting. Thank you all.
Thank you, President. My dear brother, I appreciate you.
Yeah, so thanks very much, sir. I don't believe
welcome,
yeah, I don't think there are any more questions. It's currently 12:07 Moroccan time, Casablanca time. The next session is supposed to start by 1 p.m. So we have a 1 hour break. The session will still be left open. You can converse with one another, and then but the live stream will be cut off. The Zoom session will be left on, the live stream will be cut off. Sorry, yeah, but you can continue to converse with one another to get to know one another and get to network. That's one of the main purposes of the African Football Convention this year. Thank you very much, everyone. The next session is going to be taken by Andreas Kanyas. He's a nutrition expert in the United Kingdom. I'm sure that that he'll be able to level up to the heights that Ambassador Henry has taken the presentation to today. Thanks very much again, and talk to you later, everyone.